Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Econ Vision by your teaching buddy. Today I'm here back with another video on data handling. This particular video is related to class 6 for CT and AI. According to an NCERT book, this is chapter number 4. We are going to discuss it today, which is termed as an data handling. First we are going to discuss what does data actually means us, and then we'll further discuss about the data handling part. Now if I talk about that data is something known as, it is a tool which helps to understand problem by providing information. Data is something that provides you an information to understand some problem. Like if I am writing just as in number 2, this number 2 does not gives me any information, so this is just as an raw number to me. But if it is giving me some information, like if I say there are children present in the class, if there are two children present in the class is known as the data, because it is providing me an information. In a class of total 30 students, only two students are present, so that shows me the problem here is the total number of absent students are 28, because only children are present, or the two students are present. So it is providing me an information to understand some problem. Data is something which is used as a tool to understand the problem, which provides us an information. Now let's talk about how can we collect data. First, let us understand the sources of data. There are basically two sources of data. First is an internal source of data. First is an internal source of data. The next is external source of data. Now, if I talk about the internal source of data is the source where we are collecting data from inside an organization. Suppose, let's take an example. If I want to know about the class 6th mathematics marks, now I will be collecting an internal source data from, let's suppose there is a school XYZ. The school name is XYZ, and I wanted to know the marks of mathematics for class 6. So I will choose as an internal source. I will contact their class teacher for class 6 or the principal to get the record for the class 6 mathematics marks. But if I want to get the marks of class 7th of school ABC, this is a school where I am not linked. So this will be an external source of data where I want to get the data for some other school where I am not linked. So external source of data is the source of data which is collected outside the organization, where you collect the data from some other organization in which you are linked to. I hope it's clear to everyone what does internal source of data means and what does external source of data means, right? Just point to be remembered is this: you need to remember that internal source of data is something in which you collect the data inside the organization. External means where you collect the data from outside the organization, right? Let's talk about the type of data. Okay, there are basically two types of data. One is primary data and second is secondary data. Now let's talk about primary data first. Primary data is something which is collected first-handedly. First-handedly basically means is where you collect the data for the very first time. Now suppose before, the data for mathematics for class 6 was not at all collected by any of the teacher. None of your class teacher collected it, none of your any other teacher collected, or your principal or your coordinators or the HOD of the department, nobody has collected. But for the very first time your mathematics teacher tried to collect the marks for class 6. So that will be termed as an primary data, where you are going to collect it for the very first time. Suppose the teacher asks for the name of the students and their marks. Suppose student A got 10 marks, student B got 15 marks, student C got 17 marks. These marks are out of 20. Now, so this is the primary data which was first collected by your class teacher. Now, if I talk about the secondary data, your class teacher has already collected a data. Your mathematics teacher has already collected the data, and your class teacher needs your maths data to compile all your subject marks, right? It's a very common thing which report card is given to you on the PTM with the consolidated marks of each subject. Now your mathematics teacher has already collected your maths marks, and your class teacher needs that maths marks. So what class teacher is going to do? She is going to ask for the list of mathematics for class 6th from the maths teacher. When she asks from the maths teacher, so that data is known as the secondary data, because class teacher did not collected that data first-handedly or by herself or himself. That data was already collected by the maths teacher. The class teacher only used that data which was already collected. So in a very simplest way, we can understand that primary data is something which has already been collected by primary data is something which has already not been collected by anyone. You are the first one to collect that data. And when I talk about the secondary data, it is that data which is collected by someone and you are using for your own purpose. You are using for your own purpose basically means when your purpose of collecting the data is same as the one which was already collected data. I hope it's clear to everyone. I hope it's clear that what does data means, what are its sources, and what are the type of data. There are different methods to collect primary and secondary data, which we are not going to discuss in this video because it is not related to class 6, in which you wanted to know about the type of collection of this data. The only thing which was useful to you is to know the sources of data and the type of data. I hope it's clear to everyone that type of data and the sources of data is. Okay, now when I talk about the data handling part, data handling is something when you collected the data but you do not know how to handle this data. Suppose in a class 6 there are total 1000 students. In a class 6 there are 1000 students and you randomly collected the data for the 1000 student. You did not organize it. When you try to organize it, when you try to handle that data to identify the problem and the solution, that particular process is known as the data handling. Let's try to understand that what are the different basically sources of basically the methods to collect the data in a data handling. What are the steps that need to be followed? Okay, let's start. Now this is the steps of the data handling. First is problem identification. First you need to know what is the problem. Why do you want to collect that data? Why do you want to, what is the problem that you want to collect, what is the purpose of collection of data? Let's take an above example, like your teacher want to make the list for the mathematics subject for each student and wanted to show it on the PTM, right? So what is the problem identification? The problem is that teacher need to make a list. This is our purpose. We cannot call each student and ask their marks on PTM. There might be some student those who have not came, but the teacher need to keep the record for it, so she need to prepare a list. So we have come across with the problem, that is we need to form a list of mathematics marks, right? Then we collect the data. We started with the collection of data in a class of 30 students. We called each one of them and prepared a list for the 30 students, what were their marks. We try to present their data. How we are going to present their data? We can make in a row and column format. We can prepare a list. We can plot a line graph where we can plot the students each marks on a particular point on a graph. We can prepare a bar diagram, or there are numerous methods we can do. Then we come with a graphical representation. That one I told you, that prepare with the line graph or with the normal graph. Anything can be prepared. Then we try to analyze it, that why we have collected their data. Suppose the analysis passed hold is who holds the first rank, who holds the last rank, who holds the second rank. This is our analyst part, that we need to know that who came first, who came last, and this can be only possible when we follow each step of this. Our problem was to prepare a list. We collected the data, we organized that data, we presented in a table format, we presented in a line graph, bar graph, or any other picture format to know the answer for our question. That analyst part was who came first and who came last. Data handling become very simple if we try to follow each step given in this picture. I hope it's clear to everyone. The first is you need to have a purpose for the collection of data. Then you collect the data. The data can be any, it can be primary, it can be secondary. The sources can be internal or external, anything. Then the data presentation should be there. Then the graphical representation should be there. And then comes with the data analyst part. Now suppose, let's take the above example only. There were some students named as A, B, C, D, E. Let's take only 5 students, and they got their marks like 5, 10, 7.5, 9, and 8.5. These marks are out of 10. Like total number of, or the maximum marks was 10. Now it's become very easy to understand that who got how many marks and who has become the first or who has came the last person. If I talk about this, this holding the 10 marks got the first position and the fifth got the last position because of the maximum and the minimum marks got in the class. Am I right or not? Yes, this is the correct. Data handling basically means that we have understood the steps also, that how we are going to follow the steps to make them understand like what is data basically. Okay, then we know how to present also. Presentation basically means that it can be in the bar graph format, like in this rectangular format, or it can be in the line format also. Like according to the steps we followed, first we need to identify the problem. Let's identify the problem first. What comes in the place of question mark? We need to know that what is at the place of this question mark. So we need to find, we have got the problem. The second step was to collect the data. The data has already been given to us in a corrected format. Then it was to organize the data. The data is also organized also. It is presented also. It is presented in a picture format, right? Now we need to analyze this data. Let's try to analyze this data by knowing that how this particular blocks is related to this particular picture. Okay, let's try to solve this. There is something B written inside this particular picture, and there is something R written inside this picture. Are these two pictures linked to each other? Let's try to identify. Here it is written B inside this picture and in a very small letter. Here B holds only one block. Here R is written as in very small format, and here R holds only one block. Then A is written bigger than B in this picture and P is written bigger in this picture. Now why it is written? Because A is bigger than B according to this picture representation, and here P is bigger than R in this picture representation. Then C is written in much bigger way, so that is C is much bigger than A, and here then O is written, so O is much bigger than P. Then in this particular it is written as D as the biggest, and here it is written as Q as the biggest. So we have identified something, that is, the smaller the size of the letter, the smaller will be their quantity of blocks in this particular representation. Let's try to analyze according to our pattern whether it is true for this or not. Here E is written as the smallest, so E is the smallest block, only one block holds. Then it is written F holds two blocks. Then it is written D holds three blocks. Then it is written as C holds four blocks. Let's try to figure out this. So T is to be written as the smallest one, then S is to be written, then V is to be written, and then biggest is U is to be written according to the blocks and the pattern we have identified. Let's try to identify this particular whether it is true or not. T is written as smallest, it's true. Then S is written as bigger, it's also true. Then V is to be written, but V is written as the biggest one. So this cannot be the answer. Here T is written to be as the third largest one, which cannot be the answer. T is written to be at the biggest one. This can also not be the answer. T is written as smallest, then S is written, then V, and then U. So basically this is our correct answer. As we followed the complete steps of data handling, the first was to identify the problem. We identified the problem that we need to find out the question mark. We collected the data which was already given to us. Then we organized the data which was already given to us in a block format. Then we presented it in a pictograph like this, which was already given to us. Then we try to analyze, we identified the pattern here. After identifying the pattern or the data analyst, we try to solve our problem through which we come up, that is to find out the question. Is it easy to solve the question when we know the steps of data handling? Am I right or not? It is easy. When you follow the complete steps of data handling, the question will become very easy to find out the answer. Let's try to solve another question also. Okay, let's take up an easy one. Let's talk with question number 6 first. Okay, what does question number 6 says is, the pictograph represents the student fruit preferences. Now, this particular table shows you the preference of a student, that which kind of a fruit does that student like or not. Now, X is denoted with the number of students who like watermelon. Now, this X is represented as the number of students, those who like watermelon, and Y is denoted with those who like muskmelon. Those who like muskmelon is represented as an Y student. Okay. Here one student has been shown and it is written equals to 2. This basically means the one student picture shows is that it holds 2 students, which means is, now if I want to calculate how many students like strawberries, so one picture means two students. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So how many times we need to plus 2 is, that is 6 times. So 2 6 12. So how many students like strawberries? That are 12. We need to identify these two. We'll identify. Let's first solve it for those which is given to us. Now 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 fours are 8. So 8 students like bananas. Now what does this half represent? It's a unique thing we are going to see here is, when complete picture is equals to 2 students, so this half picture is going to be represented as 1 student. Am I right or not? It is going to represent as 1 student. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Total 4 times complete picture is given. So 2 fours are 8. And 1 half picture, that means 8 plus 1, 9. So peer is being liked by 9 students in the class, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pictures are given, that means 2 6 are 12, and 1 half picture, that means total 30. Let's try to analyze the x and y. What does this pointer says about x? X is the total number of students who like strawberry and banana. Basically, x is equals to the number of students liking strawberry, banana, that need to be divided by 2, because it's talk about half part, right? Now, strawberry is liked by 12 students, we have identified it. Next, that comes to be banana. Banana is liked by 8 students, divided by 2 to get the answer for x. That is 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 by 2, that will be 10. So the watermelon is liked by 10 students, right? Let's try to identify for y also. Y is equals to the total number of students who like pear and mango. Now y is equals to pear plus mango. Now pear is liked by 9 students, mangoes are liked by 13 students, so total 22 students like muskmelon. Muskmelon is liked by 22 students. But problem does not end here. Problem is, which fruit has a number of students equal to the difference between x and y. First we need to identify which fruit. It's talking about fruit. We need to answer in a question, in an answer we need to tell the fruit name. has an equal number of students, students need to be equal to difference between x and y. The difference between x and y will be y minus x, that is 22 minus 10, that will be termed as in 12. The difference between y and x is 12. Now, which fruit is equals to the 12, that it's liking by the 12 number of students? So strawberry is liked by 12 number of students in the class. So basically the answer is strawberry. It's easy to calculate if we go step by step to know the answer. We need to identify the problem correctly. The problem was not to find x and y. The problem was to find which fruit. You need to be careful while reading your question answers, like what he is asking, what the question is demanding, whether the question is demanding to find for x and y, or whether the question is asking for something else. As in this question, it was asking for something else, as in name of the fruit, which is equals to the difference between x and y. I hope it's clear to everyone. Try to solve question number 7 and 8. I will put up the link for class 6 CT and AI book in this video. In the description you will get the link for it. So try to solve question number 7, 8 till 10 question. You can see. If you find any problem, you can comment down the question in which you are facing the problem. I'll solve the question then and there. Okay, so this was data handling part, you need to understand, right?